Says I'm live. Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, I see one person, Wendy Cooper. Good evening. Awesome. So I'm just going to answer questions. One, Dr. Raquel Martin, licensed clinical psychologist, assistant professor, scientist. And I do this thing where you can send questions to AskDrMartin at RaquelMartinPhD.com. And I haven't really read them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer some. It's like duper weird. Also, my glasses are reflecting too much. Let's take them off. All right. Okay. These are all unanswered. Oh, there's a bunch. There's one more than I thought there were. Oh, this is a tough one. Okay. Hey, Dr. Barry. How are you? Okay. All right. So here's the first question. This was sent a while ago. So, hey, Dr. Martin, I'm 28 and I have an 8-year-old boy. Recently, while checking in on his phone, his dad found my son sending a text to some random person he met online. We found out he lied about his age to this person and also told this person, can I tell you something? Don't be mad, okay? I'm gay. Oh, shoot. Now, we're very upset about this, not the gay part, I don't care, about the potential safety risk about speaking to people online. The gay discussion was secondary. Wow. Look at, I'll tell you, when I first started training years and years ago, the gay part would not have been secondary. Okay. So I tried to ask him if he felt like that, and he didn't seem comfortable being honest. I think it's too soon for him to have random discussions about sexuality, especially with strangers. I don't know what to do or how to move forward. All right. So parent sends a message. I'm 28. I'm an 8-year-old boy. Looking in on his phone. Dad found that he was texting someone and he told the person that he's gay. And the parents stated that they're more so concerned about the potential safety risk. They're not really concerned about the whole gay thing. They're like, okay, that's secondary, but you shouldn't be over here talking to adults online. How do you move forward? I mean, to me, there's a couple of things. The aspect of, like, I think it's too soon for him to have random discussions about sexuality. He's 8. It's not really a random discussion, right? Like he was stating what he identified as his sexuality. Now, if talking about going forward, I don't think it's a random discussion. When they're discussing it, it seems like they have to have some inkling of what it means. And if they don't, that's still a reason for you to discuss it so you can explain it to them. So one, they need some kind of safety controls on their phone. Randomly reaching out to people, like, what the flip? So one, safety controls. Hi, Shawnee. Look at that. Let me tell you something. Nobody supports you like mental health professionals, like people online. Dr. Barry and Shawnee, both of them met them online, and they here supporting me as I sit here and talk to. There's 10 people on it, actually. Look at that. Hey, friend. Okay. But one, I would say, if you have concerns about talking too early about sexuality, you can still have these conversations. You just have to make sure. My husband just said hello. You just have to make sure that you say it in terms that they can understand. But the whole aspect of stating that it's like, hey, Erica, that is too young to talk about it. I mean, you kind of don't get to decide that. If you shut them down with discussion, you can kind of make it so that they have to get that information from someone else. So I don't think it is too young. When they bring it up, discuss it. You do need to put some safety controls on their phone, though, like when it comes to time, when it comes to apps, all that, because the safety issue is a problem. You don't know y'all don't know who he was talking to. He could have been talking to a 47-year-old man down the street. Change that. Lock doc auntie. Hi. Ooh, 13 people. Look at that. All right. Next one. I need to mark that as red. Okay. And y'all can also like put questions in here where y'all want like psychoeducation questions. It's not therapy. I'm not losing my license for anyone. Oh, wait, there was this one where I was like, oh, ooh, memory card is full. Does that mean the stream stopped? How is the memory card full? Can y'all still see me? Can y'all message if y'all can still see me? I need a new memory card, guys. Brandon, can you still see me? Yes. Okay, cool. I'm gonna look back at this one day and be like, remember you had that low quality camera and you couldn't even tell if it was recording. Like, okay. Wait, there are all these questions. I have people asking about the workshop that I'm doing. I would love to have a conversation about I'm in need of a therapist for my sons. Oh, this was just yesterday. So I have a full caseload. I can't see patients right now, but on my page on like my regular YouTube thingy, every time you see a video, you can like scroll down and see like what's it called? Every time you can scroll down and see like different people who you can see. All right. How do we describe the state of stress that Black people are living in constantly in the US? Is there a name for it? I call it racism related stress. I'm gonna be real with you. I call it racism related stress. Like a lot of times people will say it's race related stress, but it's not, because race is not the issue, it's racism. So I call it racism related stress. How do you know when you're done? I got no closure. I'm harboring a lot of hurt and anger and bewilderment. My mother and I don't like each other. I feel like there was a lot of wasted time. Had she still been able to see me, love her, and love me like her child, I'm the only child, I feel like it would have been helpful. Auto power off. Oh yeah, I think it is about to shut off though. Can I just use my regular webcam? Hold on. Cause like, hold on. How do I? This is so funny. Hold on. How do I use a different camera? Wait. I can do, oh, okay. Yeah, just use my FaceTime camera. Can I not? Cool. Thank you, in settings. Thank you. All right. So basically the person's asking, how do you deal with having a lot of anger towards your parent? They are not interested in repairing the relationship. So how do I manage it? Here's the thing. Your healing when it comes to like mental health stuff can't hinge on somebody else. Somebody just came to the door. Your healing can't hinge on somebody else. Like that's the whole thing. Because like say something happened where that person was just no longer in your life. So are you just gonna not be healed because that person is no longer in your life? Like you just supposed to like put a endpoint on your healing just because of somebody else? No. I feel like most of the time when people have this whole aspect of feeling like they need to forgive someone, it can be two different things. One, it can be multiple different things, but one of the things it can be is, oh, well, I was, taught that forgiveness was a requirement for healing. It's in the Bible, Jesus forgives and so should I. I mean, I very much am a psychologist that is a Christian. I am not a Christian psychologist, and I am not in the Bible. I feel like when it comes to forgiveness, when it comes to mental health, the only person you need to forgive is yourself. A lot of times you have to forgive yourself for like seeing the signs or not seeing the signs or going back or feeling like you blame yourself because you feel like you should have known. There's no way to know 100% what anyone is doing. So I'm not one of those people who says like, you have to forgive someone. Mother's Day is approaching. How can we establish more healthy boundaries with an estranged mom? All right. So here's one of the things. I feel like that gets mixed up a lot when it comes to like boundaries. Overall, boundaries guide your behavior. Rules guide somebody else's. So if you're talking about how to establish better boundaries when it comes to your parent, that's going to be like a conversation that you only have with yourself. Like the only person who manages your boundaries is you. Like if you want your parent to behave in a certain way, then that's a rule. Like if you want to follow a specific rule, if you have certain standards that they are violating, if you have certain expectations that they aren't meeting, that's a different thing. But the only person who can manage like your boundaries is you. Now, when it comes to the violation of boundaries, the only person violating your boundaries is you. So instead of asking yourself something like, instead of making a statement like, how do I deal with someone who's violating my boundaries? You really need to focus on what is contributing to me violating my boundaries when it comes to this particular person. Like when it comes to moms, a lot of times when it comes to the violation of boundaries, it can be, it could be fear. It can be the aspect of wanting to respect them and don't want them to take it the wrong way. It can be when you state things that you need, they take it a significant way. And then you over here, you gotta have a whole conversation, or you don't want to deal with their reaction. You don't trust their reaction because you feel like you already know they're going to trip on you. But really you have to address, how do you manage that? Like, what are you going to do? Oh, well, if my boundary is something that guides your behavior, you can only guide your behavior. So say it's something with parents. My boundary is I don't engage in conversations when people are screaming at me, right? Like, because I'm just not going to do that. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you not to scream. I'm not saying once you scream, I'm going to kick you out. I'm just saying I'm not going to engage. So you start to voice out. That's it. Like the only thing you can control is your own behavior. I would say if you're thinking about specifics, you have to start with what is the biggest difficulty when it comes to engaging with your mom or your parent in a healthy way. What gets in the way of you sticking to things that you feel like you shouldn't be passing? Like, what do you want your boundary to be? Do you want your boundary to be, I'm going to control my behavior, so I am going to leave if something happens? Is it going to be, I'm going to control the negative thoughts? If they say something negative to me, I am going to say some additional positive thoughts to myself. You first got to decide, like, what do you want your engagement to be? What do you think an appropriate boundary is? Mother's Day is coming up. What are we doing for Mother's Day? I know I'm spending it with my kids. I saw this thing that was like, Mother's Day, moms are just asking to be left alone. Yeah. It's Mother's Day. Oh, I don't want any flowers. I don't want any flowers unless you're going to give them to me on a yacht and you're not even going to hand them to me. Somebody's going to hand them to me. You lose your point because you want to be tactful. See, that's the thing. I can understand that. So one of the reason that the thing that's getting in the way of you maintaining a boundary with your parent, with your mom, is the fact that you want to have some form of respect. And you may want to be tactful in terms of you don't want to get lost on your words and you don't want it to come out differently. A lot of times with patients, I'll come up with a script. Like, what are you going to do when you feel yourself moving away from your boundary? Because it's going to happen. I tell them to write out a script and open up that notes app on your phone when it happens. You can read directly from it. Who cares if it's perfect, as long as you get your point across and as long as it deals with like your healing. That's what I tell people to do most of the time. I like the questions. It's like 22 people on here. Any more questions about to address? I mean, I have the Q&A questions, but like, anybody want to type stuff in too? I tend to compromise with her and no one else because she's getting older and less flexible. Here's the thing. When we get older, the only thing that possibly gets less flexible is our body. Our minds can still manage stuff. I feel like a lot of older people, they get unless there's like some kind of mental health difficulty and stuff like that. And then our boundary can really be in our mind being like, I understand that this is they have a significant health concern, and I understand that mentally they may not be able to comprehend things. So I have to come up with a way to manage that. And the boundary could be I can only be around them for a certain amount of time because my frustration gets too high. But other than that, I don't think you're ever too old to change. I think some people make an effort to decide not to change. They make a very specific effort not to change, and then they're just like they've decided to prioritize themselves. Like, well, I've decided that I'm more important than you, which in some cases is the case, and I'm not going to change for that. You talked about divorce on Insta. What do you think are the key ingredients to a healthy marriage? The key ingredients to a healthy marriage. That's a question. Oh, okay. One, I would say is effort. Because the biggest thing is honestly, we're not always gonna get it right. My husband and I have been together we've been married, it'll be 6 years this year, but we've been together since 2010. We've been together since 2010. And honestly, to be real with you, it's peaks and hills and valleys and stuff like that. But most of the time, the biggest thing is the conscious decision to put effort in. When it comes down to it, like marriage and relationships are a decision that you make every single day. Some days it's going to be like, yes, 5 stars. Other days it's going to be like 2 stars. Do you not recommend? But are you still going to put in the time, energy, and effort? I would say trust, because myself and my husband tend to be like pretty independent within our relationship. So if I got to worry about what you doing and who you doing it with, you not with me, I ain't got time for that. I do not have time for that. So like it sounds very basic, but like trust. I would say like communication, but communication about a bunch of things. Because honestly, you can't be 1000% prepared for everything. But having conversations about, I don't have time. Like, oh, I'm hanging out with a friend. Okay, that's what's up. I'm going, where you going? What you doing? Who you doing it with? Are there women there? Oh my goodness. Because to be real with you, and I know everybody sees it differently. If you have the inclination to cheat, if you're gonna cheat, you're gonna do it anyway. You're gonna do it anyway. So I'm not about to follow you 24/7 to see what you're doing, right? Trust but verify. Nah, I don't verify them. I don't. Like what would verify be? Be like you said, oh, trust but verify before marriage. I'm real with you. There could be inclinations before marriage. I mean, my husband took his time proposing to me. 7 years. 7 years, y'all. Oh my God. It's insane. But ultimately, in the aspect of like building a relationship, understanding that we have the same values. Certain things. He thinks I get more and more liberal each year, but like having the same values and feeling like I can trust you when you're in front of me and when you're not in front of me. Period. Because I'm not about to be worried about what you're doing, and it's not trust with like other relationships. It's trust you to say what you say you're going to do. It's trust to like not have to repeat myself 50 million times. It's trust that like if we identify goals that we're going to reach together, we're going to reach those goals together. It's trust with money. Like you need to have conversations about me. We have joining individual accounts. We don't do the whole aspect of like everything goes into one account. We have separate accounts for separate things, just solely because certain things I spend way more money on. And I kind of don't think it's fair for me to spend more of the money and you get less of the stuff. So we don't do that. Oh, y'all also starting 20 tips for getting back out into the social world, dating world after therapy, because this version of me is nervous. I would some big tips are so I always state that dating is not supposed. I always thought it was supposed to be fun. Back in the day when I dated, so long ago, so long ago. It's supposed to be fun, like getting to know people. I think sometimes I'll see people and after they've come back from therapy and they feel like, I'm healed or I'm healing and I'm aware of my healing and I very much understand that relationships have to mean things and have to be salient. I'm going to tell you something. Every relationship doesn't have to be some life altering experience. I'll say that. Every relationship doesn't have to be some life altering experience. It could just be like enjoy things about them. I like hanging out with them and we have similar interests. It could be just like sleeping with them, just be safe, like it doesn't have to be some life altering experience. You're doing some aspect healing and you very much understand what you're looking for. But I would say one of the first things is identify what you look for. Like, are you trying to kick it? You can just hang out with someone because you've got the same interest in movies. Everything doesn't have to be some life altering experience. We're the result of our experiences anyway. So every single thing is going to change perspective. And it can be really just be fun to get to know people. And I would also say, like, trust your gut too. Like, if you get the ick on people, there's no reason to continue spending time with somebody that you don't enjoy. There's no need to do that. No. Yeah, I would say that because dating out here seems hard. There's people out here. I just be, and also I would say one of the biggest tips, like when it comes to relationships or dating, don't you don't have to be with anyone that treats you less than you would treat yourself. If you take the time to understand what you're going through, if you take the time to have conversations with your partner, if you take the time to kind of just invest in yourself, if you want extra guac and you want somebody to also be able to pay for that, like don't have a whole issue where do background checks because you'd be surprised. Background checks? Alex, you doing background checks on dates? How? Is there an app? Do you have to pay for it? Oh, I would also say, this is another thing. You don't always have to go on dates like as dinner. You can go on a coffee date so you can have an easy exit out. You don't have to invest a ridiculous amount of time if you feel like this is worth it. Like, you don't have to go to dinner. Can you be like, oh, let's go for a coffee break. Let's go for a coffee lunch. I'm not going to invest a dinner in you yet. I'm not going to invest a dinner in you yet. And then, of course, do the textbook text that everyone does. Like, hey, this is the person's screensaver. I mean, this is the person's name. This is their number. If they kill me, this to get justice. Private investigator. Private investigator. This is terrible. Y'all got private investigators for first dates? Or it's even like when they do an app, like when you look on the app, you go, oh my God. Oh. Woo. I can't do it. I can't do it. Private investigator. Man. What's the app y'all using? Put the app down here so maybe some people can get a discount. Y'all got a discount code? Where would you say the line is where would you say the line is between expecting someone to meet your standards and wanting someone to change for you? That is a good one. I remember being in training and they said the goal is to have high standards and low expectations. Because like, they want them to meet certain things that are set for you, but also having low expectations that they may not meet it. Like high standards and low expectations. I don't think you should do that. But what if they never change? Because if they never change, I would say here's the thing. I would say the line is, you've expressed first of all, the aspect of like expressing what your standards are. Expressing what your standards are. Because sometimes I've seen sometimes in sessions where people like they feel like they not fall in love with, but they fall in like or whatever with the idea of a person about what you think they can become. And then if they never become that, and mind you, this is all unspoken. And then if they never become that person, you feel cheated. And it's like, I never committed to this idea that you had of me. I never committed to the fact that you were basically stating I wasn't enough in the first place. I never committed to that picture that you had of me. And now when I don't meet your deadline that you made in your head for me to have like a 2-year plan, like we never discussed it, When I don't meet that, now you feel cheated and you resent me. I never signed up for that, you know? So one, if it comes to, the aspect of standards, state them. Expectations, state them. And then if they're stating that they're not going to meet them, dip. Be pretentious enough. Pretentious. That sounds negative. Be pretentious enough to display your expectations. I feel like women are a little too realistic. Realistic how? Like, you mean like pragmatic? Like, oh, my expectation is just that, I don't know, you pay half or 70% or 80%. Like, what you mean by like you feel like women are a little too realistic? I think I'll tell you what, I might have to, Dr. Bear, I might have to upgrade my membership so I can like add people on. Some people like to lie about simple stuff. I need a way to verify. And you know what? The lying about simple stuff is just, it's like, why lie about your middle name? What else are you willing to lie about? You gonna lie to me about your middle name? To the point where what we are overshadows to the point where what we are overshadowing what we want. I would say the biggest things about like understanding the line between trying to change someone is being honest with yourself about whether or not you're okay with things that they're not meeting when it comes to like your standards. Being honest with yourself when it comes to the point where if you're with someone and they stated that like, I don't know, they don't ever want to be in this form of a relationship, and you think that like that just means that they're going to change for you. That's absurd. Because honestly, one of the things when it comes to relationships, when it comes to friendships, romantic relationships, is that I had to acknowledge and deal with is that like sometimes people are just going to decide you're not worth it. Some people are just going to decide you're not worth the change or the effort or them putting their best foot forward. And their decision that you're not worth it has no actual bearing on what your actual worth is. It could be like y'all don't mesh. It could be that they're not in that right place for what you need. But like some people may decide. That's why I get a lot of the aspect of like, oh, I'm too, I'm stuck in my ways. Well, I think if you're stuck in your ways, you're deciding that your relationship with my relationship with you is not important as enough for you to address what is hurting me. And if that's what you're deciding, fine. But I don't need to be around for that. Like, I'm not going to stick around for someone who's making a decision that I am not worth their time, energy, or effort. So if you're being honest with them and they're saying that they're not going to meet your standards, dip. Don't think you're going to change them. If you're not being honest with them and you have this thing in your mind about like what you want them to be, what's the issue with you being honest with them? Part of that is probably because you kind of know that they're not going to want to meet that standard. So then you need to dip and then also dip into some internal healing as well. But yeah, these people out there hiding whole families. And I don't see how you do it. Cause I made this joke with something. You know how everybody make a joke with your person and they forgot, they were like, oh, remember when we did this? And I'll be like, no, that was your other woman or something. I can't see how people have the energy. If my husband had the energy to have a whole new family, I personally don't know how he could deal with me and our sons and another woman, like the energy to deal with another woman. I barely have energy to deal with me some days. I can't imagine him being like, oh, you know what I want more of? Overthinking. I'm already married to a psychologist and I already got 2 toddlers that are monsters. But you know what I want more of? That. Let me go out and find another woman that's going to ask me what I'm thinking during the playoffs. I don't know. I can't. I want more of the stress. I can't see it, yo. I can't see it. And like, also, how you got the time, man? Let me tell you something. You got the time to have another woman in your life, your work schedule, dealing with these boys, like doing like, because we very much it's a partnership. So we both do the cooking, the cleaning, the chores, the house stuff, taking out the trash. If you got the energy to do that, more power to you. But I don't think you do. I don't think you do. And also, like, that's why, like, trust is one of the most important things in a relationship. I genuinely, let me tell you something. I don't see it in the character, the values that my husband holds to be with somebody else. I mean, to cheat on me, not one inkling. And to be real with you, if I had one inkling, like even an iota of a thought process of thinking, like, oh, I wouldn't have married you. I wouldn't have married you. Well, that's the same at all. Men are worse than hiding their dirt. I legit ask them where, and they don't even bother creating another account or deleting pics. The laziness would insult me. The laziness would insult me. Like, so I mean, like, not only are you cheating, but like, you gonna leave receipts that say the Hyatt here? Leave the packet bags so you can leave town for a week. It's not right, but it's okay. I'm gonna make you in. Cause you know I'm a pack your bags up and leave. It's like, but the math ain't mathing. Like, what you mean? You said you was in Philly, but you called me from like, it's a 615. And then I would think back in the day, it must have been like, I don't know if it would have been easier or harder to cheat. Calling from pay phones. Oh, I would say, y'all, if y'all want, my husband mentioned the fact that if I get 10,000 followers, he would actually do a live with me. So if y'all can blow this up, that would be great. Yeah. 10,000 followers. And then just y'all can ask anything. Anything. Oh my God. What's it like being married to that loud woman? Okay. You have the audacity to give another person your time, and I can't get you to fold a basket of laundry. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing too. Because it's like, I don't see how he could fit it in. I'm gonna be real with you. Our day is stacked. Like, I mean, wake up at what, 6:30, 7. He gets one ready, I get the other one ready. And then we get terrorized until we put them in the car, go to work, I got work, come home ripping and running with like food, bath, shower, bed, maybe having a conversation about life, probably not, catching up on other work we haven't done. There's also laundry, there's dishes, there's bottles. And then at that point, it's already like midnight. Oh, is the screen freezing? I don't know. He got I just upgraded my Wi-Fi. Is anyone else's screen freezing, or is it just LockDoc? LockDoc, are you a electrician? Oh, I might have froze. Okay. I also have another question that someone put in. This is a long one too. Brandon, am I freezing? I'm not. All right. Okay. I think a lot of them really underestimate our intuition, how well we listen and pay attention to everything. And as someone who, it's legit my job to like, not only do I listen to what you're saying, because when I was first training, like the majority of my work was with kids, and trying to take therapy notes, like trying to write on your notepad with kids around. They like, what's that? What you writing? What's that word mean? It was ridiculous. So I got pretty used to remembering key points, and then also remembering tone and inflection, and silence speaks volumes too. So I got very used to like being a recorder for like the 50-minute sessions, and then after session, like doing my notes and writing everything down. Right. So like, I am like, that's not what you said. I mean, or that's how you said it. Or no, I don't think that's accurate, because you said you left at 4:27. How the heck you get back at 5:42 when it's a 10-minute? It's a 10-minute. Huh? The timestamp ain't timing. But also, that's another thing. I'm not about to do that. If ever I'm in a relationship, like if I was in a relationship, I had thought I had to do that. I don't have the time or the energy. I'm not about to be out here looking at kilometers or stuff like that. I don't have the time or energy, because once again, I've always been like a more independent person, couple of relationships too. So like, woo, So you gonna be worried about where I'm at or who I'm with, or if there's a man or a woman near me. That's not gonna work. If you can't trust me, and if I can't trust you, there's no point in doing this. I'm not about to check your phone. I'm not about to worry about phone codes. I'm not going to flinch when my phone rings. I'm not going to flinch when your phone rings. I'm not going to flinch when you ask to use my phone and be concerned if you don't swipe on my phone. I'm not doing that. And also, like, why, why have the energy? Oh, yeah, I'm about to do that. Like, I'm about to be with somebody else. And if I'm about to be with somebody else. All right. Oh, y'all, that's a good question. Okay. Y'all ready? Ready for the question? Okay. Is it reasonable to expect someone who is in an intimate relation? I want to do voices with this. Hold on. Because this person sounds like real irritated in this email. It's actually mad long. Is it reasonable to expect someone who is in an intimate relationship to keep their mouth shut regarding bad things that they do, whether to their intimate partners or others? For example, I had an ex who was very upset that I told my parents about the bad things that he did. Well, okay. Telling me he could do better, discussing how he settled for me. Oh my God. Trying to force me to drink as a non-drinker. Oh my goodness. Trying to manipulate me, being mean to service workers. Oh my goodness. And he felt that I made him look bad. I'm gonna stop you right there. This fool making himself look bad. Telling me he could do better, then do it. Bye. You ain't doing me a favor. Just saying he settled for me. What? Trying to force me to drink trying to manipulate me. And then being mean to service workers. That's a firm no for me. I felt that his own behavior made him look bad. Oh, okay. You already got there. I felt that his own behavior made him look bad, but he stated that because he hadn't done the behaviors in front of my parents, that it was my sharing of his behavior that got him in trouble, not the behavior himself. Oh my God. I'm so glad that now they said this is X. They said this is an X. I remain unclear about how someone can hold the idea. I remain unclear about how someone can hold the idea that it is the telling of the thing and not the thing itself that is bad. Help me understand why anyone would expect to be able to treat someone badly and then have that same person maintain secrecy around their behavior. These are good questions. Because, like, what the flip? Okay, well, technically, I did punch that person in the face, but if you had not told them that I punched them in the face, and they would not have known I punched them in the face, so technically it was you telling them that I punched them in the face that got me in trouble. Are you outside of your mind? Now, I will say that me and my friends in undergrad, we've learned very early on, and we both, all of us pretty much stick to this rule, that when we tell our parents about something significantly, difficult or bad, or something that our partners or boyfriends did at the time, that's when we were done. Because, we forgive the morons that we with, or stuff like that, but our parents don't. So basically, by telling them, it's like, and this is how I knew, this is how I solidified it. Because then, every single time you mention it, or you discuss them, your parents gonna bring it up, and you don't want to hear their mouth. So we all like came up with that rule. We're like, well, that's how I knew I was done, because I told my dad. And I don't want to hear my dad's voice every time I'm talking about what I mentioned him. So I just, also, like, we can't really expect our parents to, they just supposed to be okay with you being with someone, they it's understandable that they don't keep bringing up stuff. If you over here, you mention the fact that they did something, it's understandable that they probably gonna bring it up. Now, that may be something that you discuss with them. Like, I still decided to be with him. Okay, well, don't tell me anymore. Don't tell me. Okay. She had some more, but I will say that is a rule. Like, if you don't share if you don't want me to form an opinion, why do, so some of the extra questions are, why do men need to, is this another question? Oh, that's another question. Hold on. What is that sound? Brandon, what is that? Toys. Okay, why do men need to be needed, or at least think they do? For context, the majority of my friends are single. I'm a physician, and we're all physicians, dentists, PharmDs, and professors. Okay. We have nice things, obviously, and want to share our lives with someone. Interestingly, we've all run into a great number of men who seem to be completely uninterested in long-term partnerships, and we keep hearing, you don't need a man. Correct. Don't. I'm a sentient. Correct. We don't. I'm a sentient, sovereign being. But that doesn't mean I don't want one. Why isn't being wanted enough? Yes, anecdotally, we have noticed that as women of means, we don't really take any BS, whether it's because we don't need your half of the bills or sky high self-esteem. Is that what this is all about? Do they not want us because we will break up rather than forgive? Break up on egregious stuff like cheating, being mean to us, manipulation, not just incidental annoyances. Do some men feel having some financial control will give them a safety net for when they act up? So they avoid women with financial resources because they don't have that control in place. You avoid eye contact? My husband just walking past. I know you hear a question. You don't want to answer the question? No? You sure? If this was a Kevin Samuels, yeah. But anyway, well, here's the thing. This is very interesting because for the longest, I mean, historically, historically, the only reason why some people were able to be in relationships was because women needed them for certain things. Couldn't get jobs, so that's the only way that you could have some form of like care. Couldn't get credit cards. Couldn't go to school. Couldn't do anything. So some people, it was a requirement, and this was sort of like the patriarchy and racism and sexism and stuff like that. So it was a requirement. I do find that like now when it's not a requirement, you have to bring more to the table. Why should I let you treat me less than I treat myself? If I have to get in touch with my emotions and I have to go to therapy to figure out why I do my stuff, why don't you go to therapy and do the same exact thing? I will say there are some things I feel like when it comes to like your energy and your mindset and stuff like that, I think it is important to realize like certain things that serve you in one environment may not serve you in another one. For example, doing a bachelor's, 2 master's, PhD, doing competitive internship, postdoc, publications. Today, I actually had a publication come out today in Journal of Health Sciences, or is it Health Research? Journal of Health Sciences. Having that all like big boss energy and stuff like that, that served me in like my work environment. That does not serve me at home. Like having to attempt to take control over everything, not being mindful of like just overtaking stuff, that doesn't serve me in my home environment. Like that very much served me in my work environments, but that don't serve me at home. And it's also because I don't need to be like that at home because I have support versus like going through my school programs and stuff like that. I didn't have ridiculous amount of support in my environment. So I will say a lot of times it's also being mindful of certain things that serve you in one environment won't serve you in other ones. It's okay to I wouldn't say depend on something, but like take a step back instead of feeling like you need to be on all the time. I will also say the only reason why I feel comfortable taking a step back in the home environment or family environment is because I know the person that I'm with can handle that. The issue isn't always the fact that it's like, oh, you know, having like more money or more education, stuff like that. It could also be the fact that you've never been in a relationship with someone who could handle stuff as well as you could. So you naturally don't trust them to do it. And that's something you got to build with somebody else. Like, if you want to lead, I need to know you can lead. I got to trust that you be able to do that. You got to have some sense. And if I don't get that from you, why would I let you do it? Like, would I look stupid? I'm not about to be, got me out here looking like Ned Flanders. I find insecure men tie the value in relationship to how much they can contribute financially. Yes, because it's funny how a lot of times men, well, I'll see these conversations, you know, because, you know, the public health crisis really is the fact that there are too many microphones being sold. Too many people have access to Apple Podcasts. That's the public health crisis. COVID, racism, and giving these men these freaking microphones. But yeah. The thing is, like, I'll see a lot of conversations about like, oh, women changing their looks and they change their hair and their makeup and stuff like that. Yep. And you wear hats, platform shoes, and you made sure that you made 8 figures. That's the only reason why I'm here. You be worrying about our looks. Like most of the time, you the only way you can bring people in is financially. I'm not saying it's everybody, but I'm just saying sometimes if you're thinking about things that you bring to the table and all you can bring is money, that's not enough. I want someone that brings value. Like you expect more. If you can bring money to the table. I can bring money to the table too. What else can you bring? Can you have a conversation? Can you be someone that I can trust? Are you someone that's going to support me? Money's not going to be enough because I got money too. Versus if you don't have money, you're more likely to let some stuff slide because they're bringing something else and you may not want to venture through this world alone. Because I very much think it's about having someone to compliment you, not complete you, just simply because like it's hard doing everything by yourself. Can I do everything by myself? Yes, but why should I? And that's another thing in relationships where it's just like, okay, I can do a significant amount of things by myself. So in order for me to share my space, you have to be bringing something to the table. It doesn't have to be money. It could also be like space. It could also be comfort. It can be comedy. It can be some kind of supplement. You could be the only person that I can talk to and laugh with, but it has to be something. Because like, what do you bring to the table? Like, I have a table. I mean, you can help me expand it, but like, I got a table. There is a difference between wanting a man and needing a man and having the desire to be with a man. I think some people don't see the difference, especially cis hetero men. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. Somebody asked me what my biggest flaw was. Such a random thing. And I was like, it's gotta be my attraction to men. You're like, what would you say is your biggest flaw? And I said, it's gotta be my attraction to men. It's gotta be. What's the thing that keeps you? My biggest flaw is heterosexuality because my God, Jesus. Woo. I'm just basic. I'm a cisgendered heterosexual one. It's just basic. It's my biggest flaw. Heterosexuality. Jeez. But yeah. Okay. And Constance said, when it came to this relationship question, they maybe thought that they were going to be the default safety net for a fall that never happened. To some, it did seem as though successful Black women wasn't going to be a thing like it is today. Having a conversation without getting indicted is a whole flex. Yeah, that whole dating thugs thing that went out in high school. Anybody trying to deal with that? Because they locking up the boobs too. Like, it's a whole thing. All right, y'all, it's 9:22. It's 9:22 my time. Oh, you know what? This was supposed to be at 8. But then once I brought the boys home, I knew that we were not going to have a normal bedtime. So I'm going to try to do this weekly. I think I'm also going to see, somebody said that, Dr. Berry said that I could likely call people up to ask questions. But there definitely has to be a moderator with that because I'm not trying to add someone and then it's just like they stuff in the camera. Like, you're not about to get me blocked. So I'm gonna log off. Did everyone enjoy this? Would y'all do this again? Come back. That's what I'm trying to do it weekly. Y'all not typing fast enough. That's too much for me. All right, y'all. Well, follow me on the Instagram and the Tickety Talks and the YouTube and I'm on LinkedIn now. Yes, definitely. Cool. Okay, yeah. So hopefully next Thursday it'll be at 8. Most of the time, my children try to destroy me. Like my son, oh my gosh. So we're putting him down for bed and he has allergies. He has allergies and I want to blow his nose. So he wants to sit with me. So he sits on me on the rocking chair and then he's laying on my chest and all you hear is just in my ear. And I said, I picked him up. I said, okay, that's enough cuddling. Mama is touched out and you won't blow your nose. I can't hear the snot in my ears. Can't do it. I just can't do it. I put him down and left. Sometime maybe you can talk about Boston. Everything's screwy. Yeah, you know what? You know what I might do? I might do a thing where you can vote on, where would I put that? Instagram? Where did most of y'all find me from? Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. Where did most of y'all find me from? Because I could put a poll and people could just vote on the topic and we can just stick to that topic. Where did y'all find me from? Life or Snapchat, or I don't have Snapchat. And I just heard, and this is what I'm talking about. I just heard my son. You better go check on him. He's supposed to be in bed like an hour ago. Instagram. I found you on IG. Okay, cool. So let's say Mondays. Oh, you can do polls in your Miss Ma'am. Oh, that's such a cute name. Miss Ma'am. I might have to do that too. I find that like I don't have as many people on YouTube. And honestly, this does not transition over to apps because like TikTok, I have like 720,000 followers. Instagram, I have like 170,000 followers. YouTube, I have 6,000 followers, and they just like transfer over. So I'll probably just do it on Instagram because it seems like that's where most of y'all came from. And yeah, so I'll do that on Mondays. I'll do a post and be like, hey, what y'all want to talk about on Thursday? And then, whatever you vote on, that's what we'll talk about. But they commented, y'all, this is my first YouTube live. This is my first YouTube live. Awesome. And it was way more fun. I'll be honest, this is actually most of the time more fun than actually recording content because I actually get to like talk to the people in my community. And I mean, to me, that's the best part of social media. 6K and growing. Thank y'all for being here. All right, I'm gonna try to get like 30 minutes of stuff done. I'm pretty sure my child is gonna call me a little bit. Hope to see y'all next week.